Good day, goeiedag, molweni. My name is Maambele Kosa and I am the Undergraduate Students Recruitment and Marketing Officer in the Faculty of Science. For the purpose of this event, I am your host. Welcome. And on behalf of the entire faculty, congratulations for being conditionally accepted to come and study, explore, and discover science with us in this university, the best university. So I'm not just going to be your host, I will also be joined by the Vice Dean for Teaching and Learning, Professor Ingrid Revitsky, together with Ms. Attica Valentine, who is the Academic and Student Affairs Coordinator in the Faculty of Science. Together with them, we are going to put you at ease, talk to you about what you can expect from now until you get to Stellenbosch University and prior to setting your foot in here. We are also going to talk about how your parents or your guardians can support you throughout this journey. But most importantly, we are going to address some of the support services that we have in this faculty and the university as a whole. After that, I'll be joined by some of our students, wonderful students, who are going to share their experiences of being a science student at Stellenbosch University. You are not only going to hear from me, but you will hear from them as well. Thereafter, I'll be joined by the Natural Science Students Committee Chairperson, whom will talk to me, or we will talk together to address you or to tell you more about the differences between high school and university, so that you come here prepared. You know what I'm talking about. Lastly, our Dean, Professor Louis Varnich, will talk to you and just put you at ease, show you that we are actually waiting for you to come here. All right, so I am now joined by Professor Ingrid Revitsky, the Vice Dean for Teaching and Learning in the Faculty of Science, together with Ms. Attica Valentine, the Coordinator for Academic and Student Affairs. Welcome, colleagues.
Thank you.
All right, so if you were to tell me how you feel now in one word, how do you feel?
Blown away. It's very
Blown
windy.
away. It's very windy in Stellenbosch.
Excited to be able to share some of the insights about the faculty with you.
And excited. Okay, so we're going to take it from here now. Prof, can you tell the students together with their parents and guardians at home now, why should they choose to study science? And in particular, why science at Stellenbosch University?
Well, in this year, when it's the year of the basic sciences for sustainable development, it's particularly important to consider science as a field of direction. And Stellenbosch University is exactly the place to come to because we have many researchers that are contributing research-wise to these development goals. And somehow that gets integrated into our teaching and learning experience at the university. So our approach is to build knowledge, but also to foster innovation and creativity among our students.
Wonderful, wonderful. So those researchers that you just spoke about, some of them are going to be your lecturers. That the people who are going to impart the knowledge to you are the best, not only in South Africa, not only in Stellenbosch, but also worldwide and in Africa. So yeah, Stellenbosch is the place to be. I want to know, following up on this, why should they consider Stellenbosch and the Faculty of Science? What else? What kind of facilities do we have for them? Can we just unpack that a little bit?
Well, let's start with the academic programs. So I think we offer flexible and agile academic programs for developing scientists for the 21st century. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we try to develop our students to have a balance between the building of the knowledge, as I mentioned earlier, but also being innovative and creative. The flexibility of our programs comes in the fact that we have a blend of what we would say is contact or facilitated teaching and learning opportunities, but also self-directed opportunities. Our success as in the flexibility of our offering was seen during the COVID time, so we successfully completed our academic year. So we are flexible in the way we offer it even in times of a crisis and of natural disasters. As far as the agility of our programs go, there we have an approach of continuously improving our offering through our engagement with feedback from our students, from our peers, but also feedback that we receive from our alumni and our advisory board. And in that regard, they've endorsed the fact that our graduates are highly sought after within the world of work, not only for their academic basis, the academic grounding within the sciences, but also with regards to other skills that they've developed with respect to collaboration, teamwork, critical thinking, and problem solving.
Wow, I am quite sure that you heard that. And I mean, to add to that, guys, you need to understand that you need to choose an institution of which, after your studies, when they still associate you with that institution, you should feel proud. I mean, Prof just indicated that our graduates are said to be highly sought after by our industry partners and other people. So that is definitely the place where you want to be. You know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about support now. What kind of support do we have for our students once they get here?
Okay, the support that we feel we offer is a differentiated support opportunity. So
what do you mean by differentiated?
We understand and acknowledge that our students come with different levels of preparedness. They have different goals in mind of where they want to be. They have different ways of engaging with the academic material. And so through our academic programs, we try to offer support that speaks to our students as well. So we try to align the support that we offer with the needs of our students. And we don't think of putting a student in a particular space forever. So it's not about labeling a student as being somebody who needs support throughout the academic time. It can vary during a particular module or from one year to the next. So sometimes a student might need more support for particular kinds of subjects or a particular topic within a subject, but it doesn't mean they're going to have to need that all the time, because our goal is also to help students to become independent learners as they prepare for the world of work. So it is not about total and only supporting through the academic year. It's about that support preparing them for being independent. But it's not only academic support. There's a lot of support that's also needed for the health and well-being of our students, which is equally important. And that we do in partnership with the Centre for Student Counselling and Development. So we have various opportunities, and in particular in first year we have a module which is Science in Context, in which they engage with these stakeholders from across the university who help them to develop time management skills, how to work within a group, because there's a lot of group work activities, how to prepare for exams, how to manage stress. But even before they get to university, because we consider that journey that we start with the students even before they arrive on campus. So there's even support in these areas through the onboarding program.
Wow. Differentiated support is offered in the Faculty of Science, but overall at Stellenbosch University. She mentioned something very crucial, to say your mental well-being is equally important for you to perform academically as well. So, I mean, guys, I cannot convince you further, hey? This is the place to be. Talking about support, can we just quickly unpack how can parents actually prepare themselves to support the students once they get here? So are there parents at home, there are guardians at home who are sitting thinking, oh my goodness, these kids or these learners are going to university next year, meaning they'll be very far away from home, far from parents, far from guardians, but they still want to journey with them, they want to support them, they want to pay them at the back at the same time. What kind of support can parents offer to the students while they're here, and how can we work with them to make sure that the students come here, study, get their qualifications, but also become this well-grounded overall graduate at the end of their term?
All right, so the parents and the guardians also play a crucial role along the journey of the students. And I think they can help our students before they embark on their journey at the university, not only in that academic preparation, there's a lot of focus on that, but also in the preparation of understanding that this is going to be a different space in which that in which they will be engaging in. And not all of the parents or guardians have come to Stellenbosch. They might not fully understand what it's like to be at Stellenbosch, and that's where I feel that our onboarding program that's been developed is also helping our students to get a glimpse of that experience even before they come. So some of these things are preparing for the fact that you're going to be living away from home, having different responsibilities. You're going to be experiencing life like you've never experienced it before, with many distractions, many opportunities that will take you away perhaps from your studies. But it's important to have that well-rounded aspect to you. So much of your life in grade 11, grade 12 has been focused on the academic space. Parents can also help the students to take more responsibility for their own actions and for their studies. We interact mostly with the students rather than the parents, as we are guided by the POPI Act. So we cannot disclose information about the progress of students or their marks to the parents or guardians without the student's consent.
All right. So if I get you correct, for a parent now at home, they should understand that once the students set their foot at Stellenbosch, we communicate with the students. They can still support the students, but the students is sort of like our main client. Is that so? I mean, okay, Miss Valentine, do you want to add something to that? I mean, I know you as the coordinator for academic and student affairs, you work mostly with students as well, and there are parents who actually communicate with you. Do you want to add something to that?
That is very important, Ambis. As the POPI Act, the Protection of Personal Information, prescribes to us that we can only communicate with our client. And as soon as the student registers, he or she is our client. And parents have to understand that we communicate with the student. So we can discuss information with them, but in the presence of the client, which is the student. And yeah, that is very, very important.
So as a parent, someone at home cannot phone you somewhere 2 months down the line and say, can you change the program of studies for my daughter or for my son?
No, I cannot do that because my client is the student, and if the student requests that, then we can change the program, then I can disclose information, but not to a second party, not even if it's a parent.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope they got that. I just want to ask Ms. Valentine again. Prof mentioned something about the onboarding program, which is a program that prepare, let's say, the students prior to coming here. What is that? Where do they access that? How do they register for that?
Oh, so the onboarding program becomes available as soon as the student accepted his offer, the conditional offer. And the deadline for that is 30 September. And then by the start of December, the onboarding program is launched on SunLearn, which is our learning management system. And the students will have access to that. And then they have to work through a couple of modules and things that we set up for them to prepare them for the start of class after they registered. So the university has an onboarding program, and then there's a specific section for faculty of science with details for our faculty specifically. So I always encourage the students to start with a faculty onboarding program and then progress from there with the university onboarding, as the particulars and the details is very specific to what we expect from our students when they have to start with class.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I'm just thinking right now. So if one has to accept their conditional offer by the 30th of September, right? They have to wait until December or the beginning of December in order to enroll for the onboarding program. All right. Where do they enroll? Are they going to receive an email? Do they just log into their student portal? What happens?
That's actually very important. So they have to make sure that the email and the contact details on the application portal is correct, because we only communicate with them with that particular details. And then the university send them an email with a link, which is the onboarding link, and you will only receive onboarding links and emails if you accepted your offer. So if you did not accept your offer, you will not get those links to enroll in the onboarding program.
All right. Quite clear. Thank you so much. So basically, make sure you accept your conditional offer before the end of September or by the 30th of September. Once you're done with that, you should also make sure that your details are correct. That is your email address together with your phone number. And once you make sure that that is correct, you can definitely wait for an email or a notification that says you are now enrolled for the onboarding program, or you can now enroll for the onboarding program. Thank you so much. But talking about the onboarding program now, this is something that happens or something that they need to enroll for before they come to university. Once they come to university, we have the welcoming week or the welcoming program. What is the purpose of the two and their differences?
So it is very different. So the onboarding program is to equip them with all the relevant details to start with class. And welcoming is that, or welcoming has two sections. The residence also has a welcoming program. But the academic welcoming program is to start off, to prepare them for the start of class. So onboarding is starting in December, and then the welcoming program is starting on the 1st of February. And then class is starting on the 13th of February. So the one flows into the other one. And it's important for people to work through the onboarding program before they actually start with the welcoming program. And then the welcoming program is an in-person event where they meet faculty staff, other students in the program, and what they actually need to start their classes.
All right. I know that we have already experienced or we have come across students who were not part of the welcoming week or the welcoming program, but you have probably met a lot of those. What is it that you have noticed that they struggle with actually just because of they missed the welcoming program?
The welcoming program is very important. So students are completely lost. And if they miss welcoming, it also means that they miss the onboarding program. So it's a kind of a snowball effect, and the start of class then becomes so overwhelmed that the student have to catch up on information about his timetables, about where buildings are, and just all of those things. And that overwhelmed feeling can make a student completely confused, and that he not get to his academic stuff or his academic activities, and in the end struggle to cope with what he has to deal with on a daily basis.
All right, so you've got that. Make sure you do not miss the welcoming program. As parents at home, make sure that your kids do not miss the welcoming program. Let us talk about this now. I mean, we cannot ignore the fact that we're at Stellenbosch University, where we are talking so highly or so much about the language policy and all of that. What is the language of instruction at the Stellenbosch University, and in particular in the Faculty of Science? Language is crucial, Prof. I mean, without language, we will never be able to communicate.
Okay, we strive for a multilingual offering, and the specifics of the language offering in the Faculty of Science is reported in our language implementation plan, which is available on the faculty website. So as far as possible in the first year, our students will have instruction in English and in Afrikaans. Typically, we would have, if the class size allows, 2 separate groups for the lectures. But when you come to the tutorials and practicals, there's more of a multilingual atmosphere within that. Where the class sizes don't allow for separate groupings, we make use of synchronous interpreting in the classes, and in very rare circumstances where we have an English-only class at the first year level. This changes over the curriculum through the program over the years. But we try to support our students as best we can in English and in Afrikaans. And we hope to also try and introduce support in isiXhosa. And we're doing so to some extent with the project called the Mobilex project, where terminology, the scientific terminology, is explained in the 3 languages. So it's not about providing a translation of the terminology, but it's more about understanding what that terminology is in those 3 languages.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So I understand exactly what you said, and I'm pretty sure most of the parents understand exactly what you said. And some of the learners, they understand what you meant by that. So I'm going to just ask you in simple terms. I just need a yes or a no. If I am a learner, a prospective student somewhere at home now, and I think I actually cannot speak one of the languages, or let me say I actually can't speak Afrikaans, should I panic that I won't make it in Stellenbosch?
No, you shouldn't panic at all.
All right.
You'll survive.
I can
Very
attest
well
to that,
so.
guys. I also studied here at Stellenbosch University. I studied science as well. I still do not know how to speak Afrikaans, but at least I can say goeiedag. All right. Anyway, so now I need you to talk to me and to talk to the prospective students as well at home about the extended degree program, Ms. Valentine. What is the extended degree program? What is the EDP? I mean, I know there's many of them who are still emailing us asking, if I do not make it, can I apply for the EDP now? Can they do that?
No, so they cannot apply at this stage for the EDP. So the extended degree program is a program of which the first year has a special curriculum for students that are not meeting the requirements to register. And then after that first year with a special curriculum, they enter into mainstream. But now, very importantly, they cannot apply at this stage. So with their grade 11 results, they are supposed to meet the minimum and selection requirements to get a conditional offer. And if they have their final results and these results are not meeting the requirements to register, then they can submit a request to us for admission to the extended degree program. It is very important. The extended degree program are for people from previously disadvantaged groups, so preference are given to those people. As well, it is very important that they have a conditional offer with us to be considered. So we cannot accept people that have been in grade 12 in 2020 or 2019. They have to be in school currently and have a conditional offer from us to be considered.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. I want to believe that was clear. If you didn't really get it, if you didn't really grasp it, don't worry. You can email us and then we can definitely tell you more about it. Remember, you cannot consume all the information all at once, but that's why we are here to help you. Now, we need to talk about where to from here. Let's say a student now, a prospective student have already accepted their offer, of which I believe they have done because they had to accept offers up until the 30th of September. Where to from now?
So we created this roadmap, which is mapping out of where they should go once they received an offer from us. And what is very important at this stage is that if you are not accepting or you forgot to accept your offer by the deadline, the Faculty of Science cannot reissue any offers at this stage. So we can only reconsider your expired offer after the 20th of January. So that is very, very important. Please make sure that you accept your offer by 30 September. And this roadmap is indicating that, so now you've accepted your offer, and then you will receive detail from us with an email and a student number and password to access some of the stuff that will follow. So in December, you will start with onboarding. So that's the program that is launched on SunLearn, our learning management system. And the procedures are also indicated that if you lost this email with your username and password, you can also follow the links to get your password back or to get access to the onboarding site. And then results are released on the 20th of January, the school leaving results, very, very important date. And after that, we will issue final offers. Now, very importantly, in the Faculty of Science, you got an offer because you met the selection requirements. And selection requirements are set at higher levels higher levels than the minimum admission requirements. So some of you might think that I met the requirements, but I still got an unsuccessful status. It is because of the number of applications that we received. So we set selection requirements at higher levels than admission requirements. And when we issue a final offer, we will still make sure that you meet those selection requirements. So you might meet admission requirements with your final school leaving results, but if you're not meeting selection requirements, you will not receive an offer. And this final offer, you only have 3 days to accept. So a very short period of time. Yes, only 3 days. So after the 23rd of January, you will receive this offer. And if it was not accepted within that 3 days, it will have an expired status. And we cannot reissue an expired status because of the number of applicants and the number of students we have that are interested in our programs. So if you really want to come and study, it's important to watch out for those emails and the notifications and act on it immediately. And then from the 24th of January, so now you accepted your final offer, and then you will get a link to register. So you can do online registration, e-registration with that link. And on this roadmap, it's also details for if you forgot your password again, or you missed your application ID, or you missed your student number, to get those details back. And by now, you should really have completed the onboarding program, because then we start with welcoming. And the faculty's welcoming program, the details, we will communicate with you at a later stage. And then you might be ready for the start of class. Yeah, interesting. So that Thursday before class starts, timetables become available, and then you can start, the Monday class will start. But the welcoming program, we give a lot of detail on how to get ready for that 8 o'clock Monday lecture. So I don't want to give away a lot here now to make it appetizing for them to come to study with us.
This sounded exciting, inspiring for me, and eye-opening. I mean, I heard a lot. But firstly, I just want to get it right. This roadmap, are they going to get access to it on their onboarding program, or it's going to be emailed to them separately?
So the roadmap is already on the martis.com site, but our faculty will also communicate the roadmap with them on our social media platforms. So we will publish it on Instagram, on Facebook, on all our platforms. If people are interested, we can also email it, so they can just contact me then I can email it to them if they cannot get hold of it. And we will also communicate it with them during the welcoming period.
All right. So for someone who actually want to make sure that they have this at hand now, they know where to, can they start emailing us from today as they are watching us and start emailing to request for this roadmap?
Yes, indeed, they can. But I would also advise them to check martis.com or the Faculty of Science website. They can find it also there.
All right. I think visit martis.com so that you can actually find the most recent or updated one should there be changes. Access it from that homepage. Thank you so much. I think I also want to know that we've spoken about the roadmap, of course, and you got to a point where you said, then you're ready for your class. But how do one get ready for class without knowing what textbooks they have to get, what kind of laptop they need to buy? I mean, they are wondering, they're curious, do they need to know what textbooks to buy actually?
So, yeah, that's a popular question, a very, very popular question. And the onboarding program has been structured in such a way that if they work through it, at the end, they will get the textbooks that they actually require. But I would like to advise students that will register next year to wait until they met with the lecturers before they buy textbooks. So it's not like schools. Some of these textbooks, they only need one chapter in it and they don't need the entire book. Or there's other books that senior students are maybe selling. So do not buy these books beforehand. Wait for your lecturer to give you an instruction. That's textbooks. And then the computer that you asked about. So we normally recommend that students use the computers on campus because our computer labs are fully equipped with all of the relevant software that they require. But if you want to buy a computer yourself, then a 15-inch computer with maybe 18 gig RAM with a solid state drive, if that is what they require. But it is, and an i5, but it's more important that you contact us maybe so that we can look at your budget and prescribe to you what options you can look for, and then to give a complete list of this is the requirements of the computers that you should use. Also for computer science students, those that intend to take computer science in the first year, the Ubuntu software is used, and that's open source software that they use, so it's nothing special. They can get access to that. But I think it's more important that they contact us with their budget, and then we can give them details of the requirements of a computer.
Okay, thank you so much. So in short, do not buy textbooks. Do not stress about buying textbooks. You don't really have to email us to ask about textbooks until you get here and meet your lecturers who are going to help you precisely about what kind of textbooks you need. Same with the laptops or your computers. You can email us, she said, and ask based on your budget and perhaps what you will be studying based on what you will need. So I hope you are now feeling at ease, and I am not quite certain if I might have left something out, if maybe I didn't ask them something that you need to know, but do not worry because we are also live. So you can join our live Maths 101 and ask us any question that we might have left out. I just want to give you this opportunity to maybe say something that I might have forgotten to ask you. Do you have any question for me, or do you want to add something?
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
And I might stress on this, but we have quite a number of applications, and we only have 750 seats available for 2023. Okay. So it's very important that if you have an offer from us and you're interested to study with us, to accept that offer.
Thank you. What do you mean by a lot of applications?
At the moment, we are standing at 21,000 applications for 750 spaces.
Wait, is this for the entire university, the 21,000, or for the Faculty of Science?
Faculty of Science only.
Is it scary? Should they be scared?
No, not scary. Okay. Just act on the notifications that we send you. If you have an offer, accept it. That's very important.
So the reason why we are your institution of choice is because we are the best. That's why we get a lot of applications. But do not be afraid. Do not be scared. Just make sure that you meet more than your admission requirements. That means meet your selection mark as well. And also be responsive. Do not delay your opportunity to a greater future. And most importantly, the best university. All right. Thank you so much. Prof, do you have anything to add?
Nothing really, but just to say we look forward to embarking on your academic journey with us and to helping you find your path towards reaching your dreams for the future. So we look forward to seeing many of you in February, January of next year.
You hear that we are looking forward to having you at Stellenbosch in the Faculty of Science to study, to discover, and to explore science. All right, I am now joined by our current students. They are here with me. They are going to tell you who they are, where they come from, the schools they matriculated in, and also what they are studying at Stellenbosch University. Welcome, guys. I will start with Kyle, please.
I am Kyle Abrams. I come from a small town called Atlantis along the west coast. I'm matriculated in Melkbos High School, and I'm currently studying BSc Human Life Sciences.
I'm Alexandra. I'm from Cape Town and I've graduated or matriculated Edgemere High School, and I'm studying a Bachelor of Sciences in Chemistry.
I'm Alok More. I'm an international student from India who stayed in Durban and matriculated in Glenwood High School, and I'm studying BSc Bioinformatics.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. So now I just want all of you actually to quickly share in just one line or two lines. Why did you decide to study science, and in particular science at Stellenbosch University?
I decided to study science because I have this immense passion for science. I always have, especially the biological stream in science. Ever since I was in high school, I had biology as well as physical sciences, and I had other cultural aspirations as well, but science just really stood out to me. And my teachers in school really encouraged me to attend Stellenbosch University because most of them had, and I was just exposed to that, which is what made me come to Stellenbosch in the first place.
Wonderful. Alok, do you want to say something?
So the reason I chose science at Stellenbosch is I've always been interested in research and development side of biology particularly, and just seeing the next level, the advancements of science at Stellenbosch University, the papers the professors, lecturers are releasing and stuff like that. I was like, this is the university I want to be at. This is the future.
Wonderful. Alex, do you want to add to that? Let's hear your story.
My big question was the end of matric, how can I do medicine without actually doing medicine?
Oh,
And
wow.
chemistry,
Wait a second. What was your question?
how can I do medicine without actually doing medicine? Something close. Okay. So chemistry bio, my major, was my closest alternative. And why studies? Well, I went to 2 Stellenbosch University open days, and they really swayed me. And I compared it to UCT, and I think I liked it just more.
Okay, so wonderful. I mean, you've now told them your names, where you come from, why did you decide to study science at Stellenbosch? How have your journey been up to so far since you got to Stellenbosch?
I think I'll go.
All right.
It's been very up and down, with COVID and all, and coming from high school where things were really uncertain, and then coming in with still kind of sort of lockdown and stuff like that. But I think one thing that's really kept me going is the support offered not only by the university, but my peers and friends and people I met in this university who really helped me and kept me on track to what I need to do and where I need to be. And that's why, it's just a matter of resilience and working through the things, not really focusing too much on the negatives, but more so on the stuff that is being done around you in a positive manner.
Wow. So basically what Alok just said now is that who you become once you get at Stellenbosch University, it's not only determined by what you do, but also the people who surround you. He mentioned a lot of support services that he got, even from his peers, obviously from the faculty as well, I want to believe, and also from the university in general. So when you prepare yourself to come to Stellenbosch, you need to know that the environment around you will actually aid in making sure that who you become it's a successful person. But anyway, thank you so much for that. So let's talk about this. Does anyone want to talk to us or share with our prospective science students? What are some of the things that you need to do or you need to know in order to balance your academic life with your social life?
So I would say there are a lot of things on campus that help students with that balancing between social and academic life. It is a very difficult balance, but I think campus is so well structured towards that balance. For example, the NLC Student Center is such a fun place to be in. There are so many restaurants, coffee places that you can go between classes. Even after class, the places are open late. A 24-hour place just recently opened. It's absolutely amazing. So much socializing that can be had, so many networking options. And there are also many study centers on campus that help students. I know I've had so many experiences in study centers where I'm just meeting someone who's studying the same thing as me, and we can talk about the work. And there's also the Kutsenberg Stadium where we can go watch rugby matches almost every Friday. And if there's the Marty's rugby team that's playing, that's almost every Monday at the beginning of the year. It's absolutely amazing. The NLC also has a cinema, which is a must-do experience. It's so much fun. I've been there so many times now. And the Rooi grass during lunch hour, it's one of the best things ever. Couldn't ask for better experience with my friends. So many options. So there's definitely a lot of options on campus for a balance between study and social life.
Oh wow, that was a mouthful. Like, there's a lot to do, there's a lot of places to know, but do not worry about that. You will definitely know all of these places. You will walk into all of these spaces. You don't have to worry about it, but remember, there's rugby matches each and every Monday at the beginning of the year. All right. Thank you so much, Kyle. That was a lot. I want to know now, I think, who should I pick now? Is it Alex? Is it Alok? Is it Kyle? What are some of the facilities within the faculty or within the university as a whole that you need to know in order to make sure that you succeed within your academics or with your academics?
Okay, let me do this one.
All right.
So my Stellenbosch journey has just started, so I'm still discovering places as I go. Lots of things by way of ear. But I think definitely one of the most important things is the NLC Student Center. You get the fun and you get the studying. There's lots of places to sit. Free Wi-Fi, very important. You're going to work on your laptop a lot. But at the same time, the library, which is why I love Stellenbosch University. I really love our library. It's very cool. It's a bit underground. But besides the taking out of the books, you can also have some books for leisure reading. And there's lots and lots of student spaces where you can just sit, do your study, do your group work even, and once again, free Wi-Fi. And I think also one of the more important buildings is the Naga. I think the engineering building calls it Verga, and the NLC calls it Varga. I'm not Afrikaans. But it is a room with lots of computers. So if you feel like maybe your laptop has died or maybe you don't have your laptop on campus and you need to get some work done, this is definitely the place you can go to. Similarly, you got the Yanmuton Learning Center. I think most of the time they have classes there, but it is open to all students after hours. So once again, if you feel like if you're living in an apartment or a place where you can't really do much study work, you can go there and have your study in peace.
Wow, wonderful. So basically there's a place called Narha where you can study, where you can work on the university computers. There's free Wi-Fi as well, of which you can also bring your own laptop. There's the library, as she mentioned. There's a lot of spaces where you can study or where you can read conjunctively. But now I want to know, actually, you didn't mention anything about your classrooms. Do you attend classes? Okay. Do you have your classes in the same building?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
There's lots of walking involved, but I think every science faculty, not the science faculty, but all the faculties have their classes spread out to very different buildings. But it actually kind of helps you explore the faculty and the campus more as you walk around. I think the first day was definitely a bit of a quest. But once you do figure out where you need to go, you're quite settled. You get your steps in. I know that for sure.
Yeah. All right. So maybe talking about that, did the welcoming program help you in any sort? Like, did the welcoming program help you to get used to the campus or to know some of the buildings?
Most definitely. Right. The welcoming program, they introduced me to the library, to actually working in the library and knowing what to do in the library. They showed me around the campus. And my welcoming program came from me being a race student from Irene. I love Irene. And you get to do a lot of socializing during your welcoming week. And I think some of your maybe best friendships are made during welcoming week because you're lost. So you start with the basic questions, your name, what you're studying, and where you lived. And then your friendship goes from there. But the welcoming program was definitely very important because it kind of shows you all that Stellenbosch has to offer in a bit of a minimized content version.
All right. So if you remember quite perfectly, I was sitting with the academic coordinator, Ms. Atika Valentine, who already mentioned the welcoming week, welcoming program, and also the onboarding program. Make sure you do not miss any of those two because they will help you get ready. You know, they'll set you at peace to make sure that by the time you set your foot here, you are ready to flourish as a MATI student. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. I think I still have quite a lot of questions. If you had to tell me how you feel now in one word, how do you feel, Alok, before I continue?
I'm excited.
Excited, Alex?
I think happy, actually.
Happy? Kyle?
I'm hopeful.
Hopeful. I thought someone was going to say I'm tired or I'm exhausted or something like that, as long as you're being honest. But anyway, let's now, let us continue. Do you guys have any question for me?
I would just like to know what it is like from a university staff perspective, because obviously as a students we have that our perspective of how things work, but how is it working for the university and that experience, and how is the engagement with students from your side?
Sure. I was not ready for that one, but anyway. So yes, I am a staff at the university, more specifically in the Faculty of Science, but most importantly, I am also an alumni of the Faculty of Science. That simply means that I also studied science and now I am working in the Faculty of Science. Maybe I should highlight this. Alex, when you mentioned that we have a cool library, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, as a first year, I went throughout the entire year without setting foot in the library. Do you know what? I looked at it and thought, no, this is way too cool to be for students. I thought it's for postgraduate students, researchers, you know, those people that when you look at them, you're like, nah, they look serious about their academics, not me. So I didn't get to go to the library. But in my second year, I remember, and that's because I had missed the welcoming week. Or I missed a day or two during the welcoming week where I didn't get to go and see the library. But in my second year, I started going to the library and I never looked back. I still go even now. So yes, back to your question, how is it like? It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's amazing. That's all I'm gonna say about Stellenbosch University, and that is why I am confident to actually stand here or sit here in front of you and say, come explore science with us at Stellenbosch University. All right, thank you so much. Now back to me asking you guys questions. So I want to know, Alex, you are studying a BSc in chemistry, stream chemical biology, right? Okay, that sounds so cool. But anyway, chemistry is magic. No wonder it sounds cool. Please tell our prospective science students, how have the faculty or the department itself, how have they been supporting you in your journey of discovering chemistry, the magic?
Okay, so it is very nice and magical and very fun to explore, but it does take a lot of work. And sometimes you kind of, you want to fall off track or you want to not do the work that you should be doing, especially those off-lecture hours that the lecturers keep stressing and talking about a lot. But I don't think it's a recent implementation, but we have tutorials, which is a 2 to 3 hour period where they provide you with a list of questions or a list of topics that you would cover in your module. And I think it definitely helped me a lot because all these tutorials cover the previous week's work done. And it kind of encourages to actually go over your studies, repeat what you've learned and apply it to your tutorial. As well as, I love my practicals. Especially, I get practicals in physics, in chemistry, and biology. Biology, we often go down to the labs. We have very cool labs, I think. I haven't been to other labs. And most recently, we started doing animal and plant form and function. So we get to look at root specimens, leaf specimens, which is very exciting because as a person that matriculated in COVID, we didn't get to touch a microscope at all for the whole of our year. So this was definitely a bit of a study freedom of sorts. And then obviously, I think my favorite practicals are chemistry because we get to do lab practicals. Yeah, everyone agrees. We get to do lab practicals once every 2 weeks and we actually get to use a Bunsen burner. And then the recent one was distillation, investigating percentage of alcohol in wine. And the lecturers kept stressing, don't drink the wine. Luckily, I don't think anyone did. But these are even the lecturers sometimes, especially during exam times, they're even willing to have consultation sessions. You can make appointments. I should make more use of that whenever you feel lost or you feel like the topic covered this week you did not get it correctly. So you sign up for an appointment, you come to a lecture and you say, please help me, I don't get this. And don't be afraid, because I think our lecturers are nice and they love their subject. This is why they are here. So they will definitely help you for sure.
All right. No, that's wonderful. I think another thing to just highlight out of what you said, Alex, is that your lecturers do not only love or know the subjects, they are actually the best. We have the most highly rated lecturers in our faculty. So, I mean, guys, you definitely know that you'll be under good care. Thank you so much for that. I think my next question is coming to Kyle. You looking at me, or should I go to Alok? All right. Alok, you come from India, right? But you matriculated in Durban, correct? How did you decide to come to Stellenbosch, of all places?
So for me, it was between going back to India to study and studying here. And I took a look at the varsities here. I can proudly say that I've rejected UCT and UP and WITS to study at Stellenbosch, because after looking at everything, I said Stellenbosch, like I said, mentioned, is the leading research institute. But I think there's a good balance, as Kyle mentioned, in things you can do, and it's not just about academics. You coming out of high school, especially in COVID again, you get this sort of nice, fun environment that allows you to study efficiently. And yeah, I think it was just Stellenbosch has a lot of appeal to me as well, personally, because I know Professor Tulio de Oliveira. I think he sits at Tygerberg. He is the highest known scientist, I think, in South Africa at this time. He was in the Times magazine as well. He's my role model. And I was like, if he's here, surely there's great things happening here that I need to be here.
Oh, wow. Alok has already picked up a role model. But anyway, without wasting further time now, but thank you so much, guys. I just have to ask you, all of you, can you just say one line, just some words of advice, tips that you can give to our prospective science students? Anyone can take it, and we can all do it.
Yeah. So definitely, it's quite a learning curve, bridging the gap between a high school and university. I think just making use of the facilities made available to you, booking consultations with lecturers, planning out timetables, really do help bridging that academic gap and just getting your life in order, which is something I didn't do and I wish I had done. So that is my piece of advice, is just to really make use of the facilities offered to you, because I think a lot of students don't, and it's really can be detrimental to your academics as well.
Yeah. Make use of the services and resources that are available to you. That's the advice when you get here. All right, who's next?
Let me go.
All right.
Okay, so I think as a first-year student, I definitely felt the huge shift from high school to university. And a lot of people at that point realize, or think they realize, is that they are not cut out for university, or that they can't do this, they can't deal with this. They'd rather just leave and maybe start somewhere else. But what recently my friend said, and I think it's really true, the path is long, but it's worth the travel. Like, you just keep going, and at some point you realize that it does get a little bit better and a little bit better. And like now, facing almost the end of my first year, I look back and I'm like, at this point I'm used to the amount of work I do. But if I were to come back to my first week, I would be terrified of how much work I actually cover on a weekly basis.
Wow. Wow, the path is long, but it will definitely be worth it at the end. Take those words. Alok?
You guys are saying such like, now my words are gone. But I think one thing which I learned very quickly in O Week is, don't be afraid to ask for help. When you're walking around campus, or you've gotten lost, or you don't know something, just tap the person around you and say, hey, I'm a first year, can you just guide me to this and this place? Or I don't know how to get here and here, or I'm from here, how do I get back? Everyone's very open and helpful, and they're more than happy to just guide you. So don't be afraid to just take those first steps and reach out to someone for anything.
Thank you so much. So Alok just said, do not be afraid to ask for help. Whether you're asking for help from your peers in class, your lecturers, or anyone in the university, you will definitely get help. Thank you guys for your time, and thank you for sharing your experiences as science students at Stellenbosch University. So right now, off to the next person that I'll be sitting with, but for you guys, just keep chilling. Thank you. All right, so right now I am joined by Libonge. Libonge is also our Natural Science Students Committee chairperson for this year and next year. Welcome, Libonge.
Thanks for having me, Ambi.
Do you want to tell our prospective students, where do you come from? Where did you matriculate? They want to know about you, I'm pretty sure.
Most certainly. Hi, I'm Libonge. I'm a second-year Human Life Sciences student and chairperson of the NSC. I was born and bred in the Eastern Cape in Mthatha, and I matriculated in KZN in Port Shepstone High School.
All right. Thank you so much, Libonge. Most of you, do not worry. You will definitely meet her next year. When you get here, she will still be the chairperson of the Natural Science Students Committee. So me and Libonge today, we are going to talk to you and try to highlight those differences, what you're currently doing in high school, if you are still in high school, and what you can actually expect to be doing when you get to university, or just what you should be aware of as the differences, because that counts as a big step towards your smooth transitioning into joining us at SU. So Libonge, what are some of the things? I mean, you were in high school not so long. Let's talk about 2 years ago, right? Yes. And then now you are at university. What are some of the things that you've noticed that they are actually different at high school versus at the university?
I think it's a lot easier to maintain discipline when you're in high school because everything is structured out for you. You have your timetable set, so you don't necessarily have to worry about where you need to be at what time because that's already like structured out and set out for you.
Meanwhile, at the university level, we expect you to manage your time. That means if you have a timetable, we expect you to know where to go at what time. You know what I mean? Self-discipline. All right, any other difference that you can highlight?
And this was actually very surprising to me. I mean, I did have more or less an idea of what university was going to be like. But in high school, for example, like a class, you have no more than at most 40 students. And I think like stepping into that university setting was quite something that was different. And I mean, we did experience 2 years of COVID where we weren't really like attending classes in person. But this year, when we started transitioning back into in-person classes, it was a bit overwhelming and quite surprising. But yeah, it's been quite an interesting experience.
Wow. So are you saying that, okay, so basically in high school, you might find that you are 35 or 40 in class or so, right? But by the time you get to university, here, guys, you can even sit with 300 more people in the same classroom. I mean, it happens. It should be overwhelming, but now you know. So it should actually have that overwhelming feeling. You know what I mean? Those are some of the differences. And it is true. Like I said, I already told you guys that I'm also an alumni of the faculty. And I was also shocked. I kept on saying, for the whole week because I couldn't get used to so many people around me in class. Another difference, perhaps we should actually highlight the fact that when you find that you are with so many people, you even think, oh my goodness, it's quite hard to engage with your lecturer. Meanwhile, at high school level, how was it?
I think the teachers in high school, because it's a smaller group, they're more attentive to individual students. So they would give you, like, approach you if they see that you need a bit of assistance. Whereas in university, you need to take the initiative to step up to a lecturer because they're not going to keep track of, like, all 200 students. So I think the responsibility definitely lies on you. Yeah.
So in other words, basically, in short, you need to be assertive. Yes. You need to step forward. I mean, we are not saying the lecturers are not available. They are always available, helpful, willing to help you. But you can understand that the lecturer is like a 1% for this module where it's hundreds of you. That means you have to go to them to seek that help. Meanwhile, I know that in high school, teachers might actually look at you and realize that you need help or they need to speak to you because they can see that you have actually, or your marks have dropped or something like that. Here, you will have to go to your lecturer and speak to them about your difficulties or about the extra help that you need. That's the only difference. It's not that hard. It's just a difference. It's not difficult. It's just a difference. I hope you get what I mean.
Yeah, and it's definitely doable. I mean, like here I am in my second year and I'm still learning, still in the process of learning and growing. And yeah.
So basically, Libonga it's telling you guys that she is here. She's done it. She's still doing it. And all of you can also come through, join us. You can do it, and you can definitely succeed. And maybe you can also stand up for the chairperson position of the Natural Science Students Committee. What other things can we highlight actually between high school and university? There's a lot.
I think definitely like in the university space, like there are a lot of opportunities that are presented to us. So some advice that I can give to you is to like take hold of those opportunities, because I feel like in high school, you will have more or less the same, but the way they're packaged and presented, they're not designed and suited to every single student, whereas in university you have a broader and wider choice. So you get to see more or less, get an idea of like exactly where your interests lie and where your views and perspectives lie. So take advantage of those opportunities and try to, this is the part where you start learning about yourself more. So these opportunities that are presented to you, like make use of them and take advantage.
Can we talk about those opportunities? What exactly are you referring to?
Well, personally for myself, like being a part of the student committees, being a part of the Natural Science Committee, I thought it was very important for me not to only limit myself to academia, but to also try and broaden my horizons in terms of leadership, in terms of being a part of a team, what it means. I think one thing that I realized, okay, now that I'm gaining all of this knowledge through my academics, like how can I use that how can I apply that in a group setting, in a team setting, in the working space? And I think if these opportunities are offered to us, it's important for us to take the chance now and make use of them now.
Wow. So there are so many opportunities. Opportunities are endless at Stellenbosch University, Basically, this means that you will have to choose. Here's an opportunity for you to become a leader or to actually enhance your skills as a leader. Here are opportunities for you to become an entrepreneur. I know there's also the lunch lab, which helps students who have entrepreneurship interest as well. Here are other opportunities where you can join student societies that focuses on different things, whether you love dancing or music or something that you want to do after classes, just something that you need to do to balance your academic life. So there's a lot of things that you can do. The most important thing to remember, however, is that your tests, your exams are not going to be scheduled based on your availability because of other things that you have to do. And that's where time management is quite crucial. I'm not saying the other things are not important, but you need to know how to manage your time to prioritize your academics more than anything, but also to make sure that you take part in other things that happens in the university, so that by the time you are done with academics or by the time you think you want to exit this university, you know that it's not just a place where you came to get your degree and go, but it's a place where you've actually molded the person that you are becoming. That was a lot, I know. But Libonga, do you have anything to add?
I think with that, like you did also touch on the fact that your academics aren't planned around your life particularly. So one thing that is important, like you did mention this as well, is time management. And another thing that I've found very useful is the support that is provided by the faculty to us through tutorials after at the end of the day, through and they give out information such as who can you contact if you need extra sessions, who can you go to, and the lecturers make themselves available during office hours. When you have spare time, you can pop in. And I think it's in the little ways that the faculty does offer a support. So also like do make use of those little things.
Yeah. So basically these tutorials, what Libonga is saying is that they also help you manage your time effectively, in a sense that you can attend a class, a 15 minutes long class, for example. Then after that, knowing that maybe for that particular module, you will still have a 3 hours tutorial. Make sure you attend attend those because they, in a way, help you study more or practice more, ask questions because you will have tutors in those tutorial sessions. Also communicate with your peers or your classmates where you can help each other. Then you know that by the time you leave the campus side of things, if you want to focus on other co-curricular activities, you know that you've also like made time, you know, for your studies, if we should say that. Anything else you want to add? I know Libonge has a lot to tell you guys, so that's why I keep on asking her if she have anything more to add.
Apart from that, I think it's important to also make thoughtful decisions along with prioritizing. And I think that everything you do, you need to understand that there are consequences. Every decision you make, you need to sort of understand the consequences and the effects of whatever it is that you do. So whether it's you take an extramural, how is that going to affect your time? How is that going to affect your academics? Whether you're making time to socialize and get out there, like how at the end of the day, like what is the result of that? So I think it's important to like carefully plan out your life and carefully like make your decisions and think about every single thing that you do.
Guys, that means that by the moment you step in the university setup, you're becoming a grown-up, you know? Life becomes serious. You need to be in charge of your own life, in charge of your time, as you have said, and actually know or think of the consequences of everything that you do. There's a lot that we can say to you. There's a lot that we can advise you. But just know that there is definitely differences between the high school setup and the university setup. But you will definitely make it. You will definitely cope. Other people have come before you and they've made it. You will come and you will make it. And other people will definitely come after you and they will make it. As long as you know what it means to actually work on yourself and your academics. Thank you so much from me and Libonge. We just want to say we wish you well. And once again, congratulations on that conditional acceptance for you to come and join us at Stellenbosch University, in particular, the Faculty of Science. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I trust that you have found this session informative and that your questions have been addressed. Embarking on your tertiary education journey will be an important milestone in your life, and we are looking forward to starting this journey with you. At a recent National Skills Development Conference, the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Minister Blyden Nzimande, emphasized the importance of developing skills in innovation and digitalization in order to address the future challenges brought about by the Fourth Industrial Revolution, climate change, and other developments. Therefore, the Minister said, universities will have to introduce programs and modules in entrepreneurship and interdisciplinary fields, such as nanotechnology, biotechnology, genomics, data science, and artificial intelligence. Well, I'm pleased to confirm that these multidisciplinary programs are already offered by the Faculty of Science at Stellenbosch University. And when you enroll with us next year, we will aim to equip you with the knowledge and skills that will enable you to address future challenges and opportunities. All that remains for me is to wish you all the best for the upcoming final matric exams. Work hard and do your best.